BeLive, and we're part of the neighbor media crew here at CCTV. Here's Sharon Stinterford, and my name is ToniBee. And our role is to go out into the neighborhoods and find news. So if you have news, please holler at us. You can call CCTV, you can stop in, leave a message for one of us. What neighborhood do you live in?
I live in Area 4
And how long have you lived there, Sharon?
for over 20 years.
Okay, so she knows the hood pretty much. Sharon, what have you been up to lately? Tell me about your neighbor media experience.
Well, we've been learning new skills in the class. We've had modules on learning the camera, which is new to me. We do interviews. Live TV is a totally new experience for me.
Me too.
And so coming from a writing background, it's just doing the words out loud instead of on paper.
Yes, I find that I love CCTV because it has everything digital that you need. I'm just the silly girl who doesn't really know how to use the equipment, but guess what? I signed up for the Final Cut class, so now when I produce work, I know what to do with it. I know how to edit it, so it's going really good.
Yes, and we're learning how to blog too. That's a new skill. I know a lot of people know that, but that's new territory for me. So it's exciting to send something in and see it appear on the website, get responses to your ideas.
What I really like about blogging too, Sharon, is the fact that you can see how many people have actually read you. So if you have 50 hits, that means 50 people checked you out, and let's hope that triple that go out and spread the word. I just put up a new blog today. It was about Art Central. I took a stroll through Central Square on Saturday. It was a beautiful day, and I just basically started at Radio Shack and walked my way up. And I just wrote a blog about it. So please, if you can, read my blog. There's also another blog I was just reading. What's her name? She's in our same group. Margaret. She wrote a blog about biking and some biking issues around town. So that is really, What upcoming things are you going to be doing, Sharon?
Well, I'm looking at doing an education filming of just 3 people in the community who have been involved in education. And one of the groups is Tutoring Plus, and they've been here a long time. And there's some newer groups. So I'm hoping that they step forward and let us film them, and we'll learn more.
Great. I have a lot of stuff on my plate. I have always stuff bubbling in my head. Actually, I did cover some stories and issues, but now I think I need to figure out how I can do the DigiChess work and figure out how to cut it up. So
The more technical aspects of it.
yeah, the technical aspects, I'm just totally thrown for a loop. I love writing. I guess I should be a novelist after this. But what's been going on in Area 4 lately? I wanted to talk about that because there's a lot of things that's occurring that are really of interest to the people. One of the issues that actually happened, Sharon, was a young man named Shondell Mitchell. He used to work at Community Arts Center in Cambridge, and he died in Boston. He died in Boston, I think, like it was the weekend of Columbus Day. It was really a shock to me. I met Shondell once or twice. He had a wonderful, bubbly spirit, and I'd really like to find out where the cast and crew at Triple C Community CAC is in terms of this aspect. It's kind of tough when somebody young dies and somebody young close to us, and I really think that he had a special connection to Cambridge. So I just want to say enough respect to his family. We are just so hurt by his death, and I know that you guys are going through a really tough time, but in terms of stories, I think that a lot of times, Sharon, a young person dies in the community, if they're 18 and older, they're really reported on in a different way than an adult, as if, oh, well, it must have been their fault. And I'm not sure what Shondell was into, but he really touched a lot of hearts and had a lot of meaning to the people in Area 4. So anyone who had a special connection with Shondell and who would like to talk, please holler at me. And what about education?
Well, we want to see what's happening in Cambridge in Area 4 as far as education. What resources are available? I think Area 4 and Cambridge as a whole is really amazing because if you know where to go for various resources, there is everything here. You can come from the poorest country in the world and end up with a PhD in Cambridge, and that's literal. I think there's a lot of support for parents who have to work during the day and want their children, safe in a place and fed when they come home. I would like to get the details on some of these programs and exactly what they offer so people are informed, and if they have young children, that they can take advantage of this.
It's interesting that you talked about education because I have begun to be aware of the Leslie Area 4 partnership.
Oh,
I think a lot of times, Sharon, a lot of people really have a certain attitude about the colleges in the community. I can say that Leslie is trying to make an effort to connect, and also on the team is Tutoring Plus. There are other associations in the group, Tutoring Plus, Margaret Fuller House, Fletcher Maynard Academy, and Pentecostal Tabernacle. There may be others, but the whole idea about the Leslie Area 4 partnership is to bring people together. So it's interesting that you would say Tutoring Plus. I went to a fair today, a volunteer fair at Novartis, and they were there. And then yesterday I had a meeting, and I seen the director or the executive director, Ellen, there. So it's really, you're right about there just being so many opportunities. You can come from another place and just become a new person here in
Well,
Cambridge.
Leslie College, I can personally vouch for them because I remember when my kids were small, they were at the Kennedy School, and they were at a summer program, and they were excellent. There was really close attention to the children, and they added so much, to the kids' summer experience.
So it's nice to have a college on board and encouraging and giving support along to the community, along with the community encouraging and giving support right back to them. So it's very interesting.
And another place I can vouch for is Harvard University, who has volunteers at the schools where they had a chess program where they were teaching young children chess, and that was really wonderful because those are skills a person might enjoy their whole life and develop their sharpness in those areas of strategy and thinking and memory and all that.
So we're representing Area 4. We both live in the neighborhood. We love the neighborhood. I won't say that it's the best neighborhood in Cambridge, but it's pretty fly. And that flyness was so fabulous, and it was just on point on Pride Day. We had Pride Day on October 2nd. It was so worth the wait. It was wonderful. I ran around with my camera, folks. I'm trying to get it on TV. Mama got to know how to edit. But Pride Day, did you happen to come to Pride Day, Sharon?
I was away that weekend, so I did not come to Pride Day, but I think it's a great concept for the community to get together and share that day together. I know the times when I have attended, I was at the cotton candy machine in past years, and they had the spoon and egg race. I remember that. They had face painting. They had carnival. Drum music with Geraldo Ferreira. I remember that was really, an honor to have that music group there. So what groups did you run into this year?
I ran into gymnastics. Well, first we had the standard grill going on. Mike Walsh of the police department, he was on the grill. And
what was he cooking?
He was cooking burgers.
Okay.
He was cooking veggie burgers.
All right, big line in front of that one.
Big line in front of that one. I was really encouraged to see so many people. These folks don't have to do this. They have 9-to-5s. Right. Yep. So I was really impressed about how many people came out. The politicians were there, which is wonderful. They better get their hustle on because November 6th is around the corner. Right. In the Margaret Fuller parking area, they had a huge setup for the kids. There were a racing car setup, and some kind of bouncy machine and one air machine. It was a huge caterpillar. So it was really great for the kids. Moonwalk?
Yeah, something like that.
Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, they had the moonwalk. the Margaret Fuller House really came out in force.
Mm-hmm.
Allison Handy, it was one of her first events. She's part of the Area 4 Coalition. She's one of the leaders in the
Yeah,
group
from
now.
my church. I know
Yeah,
Allison, yes.
Pentecostal Tabernacle.
Mhm, right.
And doesn't she have a leadership role in there?
She just joined Margaret Full House, I believe, as the director of that, many of the activities coming out of there.
Yes, she's doing a lot of activities. It was her first program at the Margaret Fuller House. It went fabulous. So many people from the Margaret Fuller House came through, and others like Mo Barboza, Sam Seidel. He was in the house. He's our interim director, and he's running for city council. So it'll be interesting to see the results of his race. What else was going on? Gymnastics performed, and it was a tap dance group.
Oh, excellent.
So it was really, personally, I come from Boston, and I've never been to an event. Cambridge neighborhoods are really different, and it was so good to see the richness in the community, how all the people came out, and then all of the groups that set up, Lead Safe Cambridge, a dental group in Cambridge. It was really good.
And they have a lot of health initiatives, I believe, and environmental initiatives that they like to introduce, all the things that individuals might want to get involved in. And what you had said once, you wanted to live in Area 4 for a long time. What made you drawn to Area 4 Cambridge, coming from Boston?
I thought that it was more like Dorchester and where I came from. People had always talked about Area 4, and people call it gentrification. I call it some of that, but social change. So to me, it would be interesting to see the old and the new Cambridge come together. I just kept hearing about Area 4 in the back of my mind. It always had a certain reputation now. It wasn't the best in the world, and I found that Area 4 is the bomb. It is the best, if not the best, one of the best neighborhoods in the city. And I was just drawn to it because probably because of the tone that I heard when people talked about it and the things that I read in certain newspapers. It just wasn't really encouraging. And I said, well, it can't be all that bad. And that was proven. The goodness of Area 4 was proven. It was a diverse event. I'm sure at least 400 people came through. And I didn't, it was just peaceful and wonderful. Whistle and bell, they provided the sound. And I just was drawn to Area 4. Well, you've seen all the changes, though.
I have. There's been a lot of changes. When I moved into Area 4 more than 20 years ago, it was a scary neighborhood. I would have visitors from the suburbs come in and really fear for their safety. And there were characters hanging around that were really frightful when you came home at the end of a day. And it's improved a lot, I think. And when you talk about gentrification, I don't see a negative gentrification happening here. I see the same. There's a lot of homeowners who have been here generations, and they're still here. There are people who come and go, students come and go, some renters come and go, but and it gives it a dynamism, an energy in this neighborhood that you see change, but yet you see stability as well.
Yes.
And you can walk down the street 7 minutes from my house to the T, and you can greet 10 people on the way. You get to know who's in the neighborhood, and there's an energy and a spontaneity where you can have conversations where things will happen, that you can learn about new things going on and be informed. It's different than getting in a car and commuting and just being with your radio. It's a different experience. So I've seen a lot of changes, and I would say that it's improved immensely. Area 4 has. And there is still, it's the perception people have of it, the violence, that is a persistent problem, that sporadic, not frequent, but sporadic and unpredictable events will happen sometimes. But overall, it isn't. I mean, there's plenty of kids in this neighborhood that have grown up and seen, played in the park, gone to school here. And the Maynard Fletcher Academy, which used to be called the Maynard School, was one of the best schools. I can't think of a better school than that. They had the Amigos program, bilingual immersion, and it was top notch.